Basketball fans, welcome back. So the KPA Dockers will play in the WBLA, and they managed to finish third in the WBLA qualifiers that happened here in Nairobi, here at back home. And now the WBLA will be in Cairo, Egypt. And in this video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about their chances and a few things that I've seen and a few adjustments they have made to be able to put themselves in a position where they can succeed. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So the first major thing that I saw was a change in the coaching, and they brought in this guy Nabil Kabalan, and he joined as the new head coach. This guy, he hails from North Africa. He has coached a couple of North African teams. Not only that, but KPA also lost the services of Ifunanya Okoro and Aminatali. So Ifunanya Okoro and Aminatali will not be joining the KPA's the KPA Dockers run in the WBLA, and so KPA did what they do best. They go ahead and look for people, look for talent that's going to fix their problems, because the huge hole, especially the front court, needed to be filled because the players who are already on the roster cannot do anything, and their backcourt needed fixing, especially with the type of competition they're going to match up and the people they're going to have as opponents. So we have Saradiki and we have Alexis Johnson. So can we expect anything different from this KPA squad? Absolutely yes, and I'm going to go ahead and explain why. So I've been following KPA and their runs in the WBLA, WBL. I mean, from 2022, they really struggled, and they finished in the quarterfinals in 2022. That time they were in Maputo in Mozambique. In 2023, they were able to succeed in Rwanda in the Zone 5 qualifiers, where subsequently they landed in the AWBL, and they were able to go ahead and finish with the silver medal. And at that point, they were the closest they were at clinching major silverware. And since then, they have been going downhill. And the major problem was the coaching. And Coach Ojuku was not a coach that could really help this KPA women's team go to the next level. So this was punctuated, and the final nail of the coffin came in the WBLA qualifiers of 2024, where KPA stunk it up. I mean, they even failed to win third place, where they were supposed to beat APR, but the opposite happened, where APR were able to beat them twice, first in the group stage matches and in the third place game, where if KPA made to the third place, they would have at least qualified for the 2024 edition of the WBLA. So major adjustments needed to happen, and even I called for a change in the coaching. I felt like Coach Ojuku did not have the right strategy, the right coaching philosophy for continental games. Yes, domestically, KPA able to dominate, but that's just because they are matching up against teams that don't have the ability to pose any offense or defense that can be able to even give any resistance. And that's the main reason as to why, I mean, this team has been failing in the continental stage. And with that failure, the changes needed to be made, because you cannot win with you cannot win games with a coach that does not know how to make adjustments. And this year it's going to be quite interesting, because in this run of the WBLA qualifiers, you could see the only two teams that KPA couldn't beat were Reg and APR. So those are the only two teams KPA couldn't beat. And those are the two teams that came out and qualified together with KPA to play in the WBLA. So that means that the level of competition is different. I know with the sudden coaching change and the sudden philosophy change, things might go either to in our favor or against us. But I'm optimistic. I feel like the coaching change is necessary, and having a coach that at least hails from North Africa can do something that a Kenyan can't do. I'm not saying there are no Kenyan coaches who can do anything, but time and time again, Coach Ojuku has proven to be one of the most the most useless coaches in these tournaments and doesn't know how to game plan for any other teams. I mean, useless is can say useless is an understatement because he's useful, especially when it comes to KBF games. But when it comes down to playing continental games, this guy's philosophy, this guy uh, has no game plan, and his coaching is put to question. And it's something that I've mentioned for the past 4 going on 5 years. And I'm happy to see this change because at least when KPA is down or KPA is, the game is very close, at least you have somebody who can be able to uh, put good strategies that can go to work. Okay, we have not tested any strategies yet, but we'll know in the first game. And right now, as we speak, this team is in Cairo, Egypt, the KPA women's team. They are in Cairo, Egypt, and I'll be keeping tabs what they're doing. But this is a very, very good thing to happen to KPA because this might be that year where they're able to even win it all. They can win it all. I mean, I'm not going on a stretch saying that this team can't win it all because we saw what Club Ferroviario de Maputo did in the WBLA last year. This is a team that they are not the favorites. I mean, I had Alali winning it, but you know, things happen in the finals, and the Ferroviario de Maputo team were able to win. So for KPA to be able to go ahead and win, that means that they have to beat Reg, they have to beat APR, they have to beat Lali. I feel like those are the three teams that pose a threat to KPA. I mean, other teams, yes, can pose a threat, but I feel like those three, I mean, KPA has had a losing record to Alali for the longest time. I mean, Alali has been eliminating KPA most of the time. I mean, Reg and APR have been having their way, especially APR have been having their way with KPA since last year, where they matched up, and it was it was such a one-sided game. Then Reg, at least we've seen KPA have some bit of resistance against Reg. In That was like 2 years ago, but this year, no. I mean, Reg were making so many mistakes, but KPA could not be able to capitalize on, uh, making those mistakes work in their favor. So that is something that was very disappointing. And right now, I can say I'm a bit confident with KPA, not too confident, but a bit confident because at least they don't have a loser coach in the technical bench. Hopefully, they have changed some part of the technical bench. If they change the coach and they still have these people in the technical bench who are very rigid and one-sided, I don't know how it's going to work. So, I mean, even with the new additions, I mean, it's too soon, but I think they should just take it one game at a time. It's in the group stages in the WBLA before they go to the knockout. So I'm optimistic. I feel like this might be that year where they're able to get back to the finals, even if they don't win it all. At least get back to the finals. Last year it was inevitable. Last year the KPA team could not even beat Al Ahly, and that was the reason as to why they had to settle for the third place game against APR, and subsequently they finished fourth, and that in itself was the marked the lowest point we've seen KPA, and KPA have been trying to get back, but they have not been able to. I mean, this year they have tried, they have made some few changes in their roster, they have brought in a couple of new players in there, and in the whole run of the WBLA qualifiers that happened here in Nairobi about 2-3 weeks ago, you could see KPA were trying. They were trying to win games, but the problem was you could see even in the games that were easy, you could see they're not getting in the rhythm, and they were able to beat teams that did not have good offensive firepower. So when they matched up against Reg, when they matched up against APR, it was game over. And I knew for a fact that uh, KPA was screwed, especially when they lost to. They should have at least won one matchup between Reg or APR. So that was crazy. And that last game versus the Les Hippos team, I feel like they threw away that game, and they won by sheer luck and good decisions down the stretch and good timely fouls down the stretch that swung the game to their favor. But they were almost losing that game. And I must say, this exposed a very, very big thing, especially in that KPA offense and defense. and KPA are not used to playing like difficult basketball. That's one thing that I've come to notice. KPA, they're a team that capitalizes on fast break points most of the time. That's like their bread and butter. That's like 85% of their offense is just fast break. So they have a tendency of playing that type of basketball on every single team. But when they match up against a team that has the ability to take that away, that is when they really, really struggle. And even with the new additions, I'm very confident with the new additions. I feel like they can breathe in some fresh air and at least complement some players. But some players are beyond redemption. I mean, somebody like Natalie is beyond redemption. I don't think she should even play any minutes with the new acquisitions being there. I mean, there are players who I must say don't deserve too many minutes like that because they're proven to be very unproductive on offense. And when I was looking at the stat sheet, especially on analyzing those KPA games, I mean, it was down the stretch, those players that really drop like ridiculous numbers when they're playing teams that are beneath them. When the rubber meets the road and they meet a team that has the ability to challenge them, their game just shrinks and they're just running cardio in there. So hopefully the new players that have been brought in cannot run cardio for KPA, and at least they can try to do something and they can try to win it in this one. So it is what it is. So do drop me your comments down in the comment section down below. I'll be releasing multiple videos of this nature talking about what I've seen, especially it comes down to KPA because right now they're in last phase of their preparation mode. They're in Cairo, Egypt, and with the WBLA right around the corner, there's a lot that's gonna happen. So yours truly, I'll be covering these games and I'll also be giving you instant reports and updates of this format. So like, share, subscribe, leave your feedback down in the comments section on what you think about this. I'm talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.